I was raised Catholic, and for years I hated going to Mass. So in my family, the rule was you had to go to Mass no matter what, every single Sunday, every holy day, unless you were too sick to do anything else the rest of the day. And I hated going to Mass so much that I, as often as I could, pretended to be sick to get out of going to Mass. I hated Mass so much until one time I was 16 years old, and I came across this teaching, and it changed my life. I remember almost out loud going, wait, it's true? Like, that's really him? And I ran downstairs, and my siblings, my parents, whatever, were in the kitchen. I'm like, you guys, you know, like the Mass, like the Eucharist? They're like, yeah. Like, that's really Jesus. And they're like, yeah, we know. Like, no, it's like really Jesus. That's actually him. And I remember going for Holy Communion. It was like, I was just like, oh, I'm just so excited. This is like really, that's really him. And I remember being so underwhelmed by the reality of God made flesh. I would go to adoration, we're gonna have in a few moments, like I would go to adoration and kneel, like, I'd be kneeling down like, okay, go. I'm ready, whenever you're ready, just go. Come on. And nothing, and I remember at first being kind of really disappointed, and like, gosh, what the heck, Lord? And then just realizing, wait a second, if you were to see Jesus 2,000 years ago, would he obviously look like God? No. Would he be fully God? Absolutely. Fully God, fully man, but God hidden. The glory of God hidden. Why would he do that? And why does he do that? My guess is this. The whole point of the incarnation was to get close to us. You know, if we saw God for who he really is, man, I wouldn't approach him. I would never walk into a Catholic church if God was unveiled. And so what does he do? He hides and he just waits. He is so in love with you that he's willing to become so small you'll ignore him. He is so in love with you that he's willing to hide that glory and let you just forget him. What happens when we offer up the sacrifice on the altar? The moment in the Mass when the priest is here at the altar and he says, this is my body given up for you, and then he elevates the host. The worship isn't offered at that moment. The worship is offered when the priest takes the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, and he says, through him, with him, in him. That's the moment when the Father is glorified. The two things that happen every single time we go to Mass. Everyone in this church, you know exactly what those two things are. Pray, my brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father. So the priest says, okay, in a second, the Father will be glorified and the world will be saved. So pray, my brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to God the Father Almighty. The church has been telling us every single time we've been going to Mass, stop wasting your priesthood by just watching this. No wonder the Mass is boring. I sit up and watch when I should be worshiping. And when you do that, what happens? Two things. The Father is glorified and the world is saved. That can only happen if we stop watching and start worshiping. Because the key, of course, the end of it is him. Everything we do is for him. We love our neighbor for him. We take care of the outcast for him. We don't neglect the stranger and the people who are forgotten for him. And we come here day after day because he's worth it. Or he loves us so much that he's willing to be walked upon. He loves us enough to become so small we'll ignore him. He's reckless, not with you, not with your heart, with himself.